a very long time, together with the Toyota Vios, the Honda City reigned to be one of the most supreme in the subcompact sedan category. But with the arrival of the new cars in the segment, will it finally be unseated? Today we take a look at the Honda City RS and the Geely Emgrand Premium and compare these two cars. Let's start with the exterior of these two cars and begin with the Honda City. So the Honda City in this RS trim is styled very aggressively. It's very sporty, especially in this red paint. So you do get a lot of gloss black with this one, the RS badge, full carbon fiber, full LED headlight design that will evoke a little bit more driving fun. Then if you look at the car from the side, it does have this slight bloating effect that these subcompact sedans usually get. And you get these sporty looking 16-inch rims. What is kind of odd here though is that there is some sort of weird offset with the rear tires, so they are a bit inwards. That does take a little bit off of the appeal of the car. Nonetheless, all the lines on the side of the Honda City really give it a vibe of sportiness. Moving towards the back of the City RS, and the sporty touch do continue. The RS badge, which is obligatory, and then you also have that small spoiler over here. The tail lamps also has this very sporty design and also a full carbon fiber diffuser at the back. Overall, exterior-wise, this really is the sportier option. Now we move on over to the styling of the Geely Emgrand. Contrary to the Honda City RS, this is definitely not a very sporty looking car. Sure, it still is aggressive and still has a couple of lines on it, but really it's a far cry from the Honda City RS. Instead of that sporty touch, this is a more mature look with a lot more chrome on your grille and down below at the chin, and this Energy Pulse grille which just looks a little bit more grown up. Even if you look at the fog lamp housings and even the headlights, they are still very premium looking. However, they are not sporty in any way. Go towards the side of the Emgrand and you will see just how much bigger this car is compared to the Honda City. While both of these cars are considered subcompact sedans, the Geely Emgrand is actually closer to a compact sedan. As with the rest of the car, it still has that more grown-up look here at the side, more chrome on this one, less hard creases and curves on the side, and you also get rims that are 1 inch bigger than the Honda City RS. As with the front and the side, it also has that more grown-up look. In lieu of very sporty-looking tail lamps, you do get this light bar right here, which looks pretty cool and also gives you a light show. So here, there's really not much lines as well. The only thing that really carries the look here at the back is that light bar. Then even if you look down below, the diffuser is also not that much more aggressive. It's not made out of full carbon fiber, so you know they are also going for that more mature look over here. So overall, between these two cars, if I were to pick one in terms of exterior, I know a lot of people would probably pick the sportier option, but personally, I'm a big fan of the more premium looking cars. And so for me, exterior wise, it has to go to the Geely Emgrand Premium. As for engines, the Honda City RS does get a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, making 121 horsepower and 145 Newton meters of torque, mated to a CVT transmission. Then when you go on over to the Geely Emgrand Premium, you also get a 1.5-liter gasoline engine, making 102 horsepower and 142 Newton meters of torque, also mated to a CVT transmission. So when it comes to engines, the absolute winner here is the Honda City RS. The interior of the Geely Emgrand just screams premium. Everything in this car is clad in premium materials, from your seats that are in two-tone leather and also power adjustable for the driver's side but manually adjustable for the passenger side, and your dashboard, which is all in blue leather, including here on the side, which are all soft touch. It really just is simply premium in here. Even your steering wheel, the leather they use on it, it has a slightly matte finish, which is also pretty nice, and you have a 12.3-inch instrument cluster plus an 8-inch touchscreen in the middle. Unfortunately though, the Geely Emgrand Premium does not get Apple CarPlay nor Android Auto. Instead, you do have to use some other phone mirroring thing for it. Get an electronic parking brake and auto hold, and you also get a sunroof up top in this one and 6 airbags all around you. At the second row of the Geely Emgrand, it gets even better. There's absolutely no other car in this price range or in this class subcompact cars that can match this car. From your legroom to your headroom, and even the feel of claustrophobia or the lack thereof because of this rear quarter panel, it simply is a very spacious place to be here at the back. The seats themselves are also very very comfortable, and thigh support is pretty good. Unfortunately, the front soft touch materials don't continue over here, so you do already get some hard touch plastics. And also, unfortunately, despite having your own air vent and a charging port, you do not get your very own armrest nor cup holders here at the back. Now inside the Honda City RS, and just like the exterior, you know that they were going for the more sport-oriented feel. So while the interior is very much durable feeling, it is that durable feeling. So hard touch plastic up top on the dashboard and here on the side. Then your seats is only part leather and it is also part suede, but it's not power adjustable unlike the Geely Emgrand. Your instrument cluster is not even digital. It is a very basic instrument cluster. However, it is incredibly easy to read. To the center of everything, you also get an 8-inch touchscreen, but this one does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that's a little thing that I really do appreciate. You don't get an electronic parking brake, nor do you get auto hold. However, you do have a conventional handbrake, which means you can have a lot of fun with this car. Paddle shifters too for extra sportiness, a semi-gloss steering wheel. Unfortunately, you don't get a sunroof up top. However, you do get the same amount of airbags as the Emgrand, which is 6. Now the back of the Honda City RS, and it really is a far cry from the Geely Emgrand Premium, because the seats, yes, you do get a lot of thigh support, but yeah, you do know that they're a little bit on the thinner feeling side, but you do still get a lot of legroom and also moderate amounts of headroom. Not as much as the Emgrand though, and you don't get the really nice quarter panel at the back. But this car does come with an armrest and 2 cup holders. You also get your own air vents and 2 charging ports back there. Now, since this car is a lot narrower than the Geely Emgrand, you can't really seat 3 people in this car. I mean, you can, but it really wouldn't be the most comfortable because this center seat is also narrow as it is, but you do get a little bit of headroom in case you really want to. So yeah, just keep that in mind. However, for interior, we do absolutely have to give the point, hands down, to the Geely Emgrand Premium. In terms of loading items, and let's just call it practicality, the Honda City RS's trunk can give you 519 liters of space, making this one of the best in the class. And the shape is also pretty good, and you can even load rather high things. Unfortunately, the rear seats can't fold down to give you more space to carry longer items. Just like the Honda City, the Geely Emgrand Premium has a trunk that is very square in shape, thereby allowing you to load a lot of items in it. Unfortunately, the City does eclipse this trunk by around 19 liters as the space in here is only 500 liters. But the Geely Emgrand Premium does have an ace up its sleeve. It can fold down the second row seats to give you more space and to carry longer items. So in terms of practicality for the trunk space, that win has to go to the Geely Emgrand Premium. Just a fun side note, some things that these 2 cars have in common include the remote start function. So let's start with the Honda City RS. I press the lock button, then I hold the round thing in the key fob, and it'll start up just like that. Now we do it with the Geely Emgrand Premium, lock button and then the round thing as well. And it also fires up where it's like that. It's pretty cool. So we now drive these 2 cars, and let's start with the Geely Emgrand Premium. And immediately you will realize that this car is not meant to be driven hard. It's meant to be driven very comfortably, very relaxed, in a very relaxed manner, that is. And the power in this engine, while it is adequate, it really isn't any fast, and the CVT transmission isn't very aggressive even if you put this car into sport mode. The steering feel is also incredibly light and very disconnected. But what the Geely Emgrand really does well is keep you insulated and isolated from the outside world, because bumps are ironed up and soaked up really well. Even if you go on a speed bump at an angle, it is very comfortable. And the noise insulation in this car, with the exception of a little bit of tire noise, is superb. The seats on this one as well, they're just so supportive. Even if you take this car in really long journeys, it is so good. What this car also does not like to do though is turn corners fast, because even if you just change lanes fast, you will feel the car lean a lot. Something that the Honda City doesn't do. Maneuverability of the Emgrand, while it is still very easy to maneuver and parking it is also easy because of your reverse camera, it still is nonetheless a little bit harder to maneuver compared to the Honda City RS just because of its sheer size. So new drivers or those who always drive in really tight streets may find the Honda City to be a little bit more manageable. Here in the city though, fuel economy wise, you can do 8 to 11 kilometers per liter with the Emgrand, so let's say an average of 9.5 kilometers per liter. On the highway, you can do 15.6. I do believe that that is also because of the fact that this car is way bigger and also way heavier than the Honda City RS. And now we are in the Honda City RS, and driving this, you immediately know that it is a very sporty car. It accelerates so hard. That extra 19 horsepower plays a big difference. And although it also uses a CVT transmission, it really is tuned a lot better for sporty driving, and it is not as noisy as the CVT in the Emgrand. But there are some downsides as well. This car being a lot lighter and probably with less insulation does mean that you get significantly more road noise in this one, although wind noise is just a tad bit. It really just is that tire noise that you do hear. You don't feel as insulated and isolated from the outside world as you do with the Emgrand. Then the seats, while they are supportive and comfortable, they're not as luxurious feeling as what you would get in the Emgrand, and they're also, well, not the best for very long journeys. In a long journey, I would prefer the slightly wider, more cushy seats that you would get with the Emgrand. Fuel economy though is a really strong suit of the Honda City. While it's only marginally better in the city at around 10 kilometers per liter, take this up over to the highway and you can get upwards even of 21 kilometers per liter. Because this car is so much smaller and this is the true subcompact in terms of size, it's incredibly manageable inside the city. I mean, it is called the Honda City. Comfort-wise and the tuning of the suspension, yes, it's still comfortable and it's not jarring in any way, but if you do compare it to the Emgrand, it is a lot more harder and firmer as well. For the handling of this car, the chassis of this car is just amazing. The body control is amazing. Push this hard over corners, push this and change lanes very fast, and it does center back really quickly. Of course, there is a tiny bit of lean, but it centers way faster and better than the Geely Emgrand Premium. So in terms of driving, it is 100% hands down win to the Honda City RS. Before we come to a conclusion, I have to tell you about the pricing of these two cars. The Honda City RS is at 1,069,000 pesos, while the Geely Emgrand Premium comes in at 908,000 pesos. These two cars both have their own merits. Personally, I do have to say that the Geely Emgrand Premium is the better car because I love a very comfortable drive. For those looking for a very sporty driving option and also a more fuel efficient option, that has to go to the Honda City RS.